We would like to increase access to all students to career readiness. Helping me talk about that today are Heather Buskirk, who is a project-based learning specialist, formerly with the IBM P-Tech schools, who's joined K-12 to ramp up project-based learning through all of our curricula, but most specifically with the Destinations Career Academies. How are you essentially looking at project-based learning, and what is it? How could you describe it, and how does it differ from traditional teaching?
Right, so the big difference is that we're engaging students through these authentic, these real opportunities and challenges that allow them to develop the skills and knowledge that they're going to need beyond school. Too often school and the real world are considered separate entities. This really bridges that gap and is engaging them in work that looks like and feels like the work of their lives around school.
So it's interesting, as you mentioned authenticate, and sometimes we talk about industry and industry professionals authenticating project-based learning. What does that mean exactly?
So often it means that the teachers are bringing in an industry or community professional or a community member to provide the context for the challenge, to provide an interesting problem for students to solve or an opportunity for students to work towards. And that becomes the framing of the project. And then the teacher, as the real expert in the learning and the expert in the content, looks for ways to weave together that authentic experience with what students need to know and be able to do, and provide the support for students to gain the knowledge and confidence to tackle those real problems.
How do you engage in project-based learning educational delivery in an online environment?
Mm-hmm. I mean, we know there are virtual careers now, but even traditional careers and life has such a virtual element to it. And so I think we're really in a place where if we're doing right by students, we need to be preparing them for that environment. We need to be providing them access to the skills to be able to collaborate with people at long distances, to be able to critically think, to be able to problem solve, to be able to manage their time and tasks in virtual projects and virtual project work, to be public speakers in a virtual forum, as well as, written and other types of communication work. And the teacher really takes on the role of the coach and facilitator of that learning, partially because the project, and because now you have the opportunity to bring in that outside expertise to be the audience of the student's work. So the teacher's not that gatekeeper of knowledge and the only audience for student learning. They're there coaching, cheering that student on, and helping them prepare and polish their work so it's professional enough that they could share it with other adults.